My whole life, I always knew I was special. Even with no remainders, I could always move a decimal. Money on my mind while the girls that made un beso. Hustlers in my blood and it's running through my vessels. Just trying to clear the threshold, just trying to make a way. In my race against time, I could see an early grave. School to prison pipeline, 12 years a slave. Suspension and detention is conditioned for a cage. The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is Demetrius Andrade takes a major step towards fighting Saul Canelo Alvarez. And that major step is he's moving up to 168. As the champion from 160, the WBO champion from 160, it already would make him mandatory for Saul Canelo Alvarez. However, there is an interim champion currently holding that position for the WBO. And that interim champion's name is Zach Parker. So at the moment, they are in the process of scheduling a fight between Demetrius Andrade and Zach Parker. And the parties have 10 days to come to terms to avoid a purse bid. And you see the minimum offers are $300,000 to $200,000 respectfully. And so what you have there is Parker, who's 22-0 with 16 knockouts. Oh, actually, yeah. So that's what you have there. So Demetrius Andrade won't have to vacate his title to face Parker at super middleweight. So he would still be the WBO champion at 160 pounds. So what is your reaction to Demetrius Andrade trying to make a fight with the interim champion at super middleweight to possibly get the fight with Canelo Alvarez? We're going to turn over the $1 trillion bill.
I guess. I don't know. I don't see Canelo's. To me, you're running from good smoke. That's good smoke at 160. You can unify that 160. There was good fights for you to do there. You know what I'm saying? I know you're trying to chase the bag, but this guy's not going to be at 168. My feelings is that he's going to try to go to cruiserweight, and then after the cruiserweight fight, go down to 175. I don't think he's going to ever go to 168. So you're chasing the ghost. To me, it's starting to look like you're running away from. Why not go in there, try to unify with Triple G, create your own legacy, You know what I'm saying? Like, create your own thing, and then maybe he'll come to you. You know, like, I don't know. That's just how I feel. But to me, I don't see this ever taking place the way he sees it taking place. You know, I seen there was good fights to be made at 160. Well, I mean, there's good fights to be made at 168 too, but it won't be with Saul. It won't be for Saul, and you won't be getting that payday. You know,
if he does get the fight, that's what's going to be called, though, payday. You know what I mean? That's
what's going to be called, payday. Yeah, but nah, I just don't see it. Why won't you test your skills against a Triple G or somebody of that nature? You're talented, and I think you do have the skills, and I think you have a lot of skills. But I just feel like you should be trying to create your own legacy instead of trying to chase this man. You're literally just trying to chase him, and he's not even going to beat. That's how I feel. I feel like he's going to try to go for that belt at cruiserweight, and then go back down to 175. If he doesn't go to the cruiserweight, he's going to go right to 175. I feel like there's other opportunities there for Saul. I just don't see that fight with Boo Boo ever happening. You know, it's just me, my opinion.
G.
Yeah, excuse me. I disagree with Trill because although what Trill's saying makes sense, I've heard Eddie Hearn on I believe 2 separate interviews where he said he tried to make the Boo Boo fight with Triple G and Triple G refused. Why? Because Triple G, just like Boo Boo, they want the Canelo fight. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard when Nobody wants to fight each other because they all want that Canelo payday. So I'm not mad at Boo Boo for this because it makes sense. Because when you look at it, what other options does he have? Right? This I think is his best option at securing a Canelo fight. Now Canelo doesn't have to take the fight, but at least it puts him in position to actually get a Canelo fight. So I'm not really upset by Demetrius' decision to move up to 168 and fight the champion at 168, or interim champion, whatever it's called, because that's going to get him even closer to the Canelo fight. If he stays at 160, he's definitely not going to get that Canelo fight. I think Canelo could possibly go back to 168. Canelo's not going back down to 160. So he has to level up, and it makes sense, and not to mention, think about it like this. Remember, Eddie Hearn created this whole narrative about Dillian White being ducked when he was the mandatory for 1,000 days plus whatever, and that campaign worked. Maybe Eddie Hearn could do the very same thing with Demetrius, find a way to create a little campaign to force Canelo's hand to get to take that fight. It's possible. I don't know how likely it is, but it is possible. So, yeah, man. So I can't hate on Demetrius for making a move that get him the payday, because if he stays at 168, he's definitely not getting no paydays. He'll barely even afford to get a Snickers. You know what I'm saying? So let my man go to 168 and call out Canelo. I know Canelo wants the cruiserweight situation, but I don't see Canelo staying at no cruiserweight. He just wants a belt, and he's gonna come back down to 175. And 175 and 168 pretty close. So I think Canelo could still make 168. So now Boo Boo has an opportunity.
Man, I think I'd be honest with you. I don't necessarily know if this is really about fighting Canelo or creating the appearance that he's running. And this is what I mean. If you really want to fight Canelo, you have to make yourself a lucrative option for Canelo. It has to make dollars for Canelo to fight you. It has to make dollars, and it has to make sense, right? You look at when he fought Callum Smith, you look at when he fought Billy Joe Saunders, and you look at when he just fought Caleb Plant. It was all for history. So it made sense for him to fight them. And he was going to make them the dollars. And he still was able to generate money because the guys I just named to you were undefeated champions. If you want to debate, the validity of their championship pedigree, you got to hold other people to that same standard. I feel like, how can you say that Sean Porter was a better champion than Caleb Plant? Look at the number of title defense Caleb Plant had. Look at the number of title defenses Sean Porter had. So I think, like, realistically, rather than trying to downplay it, you have to look at it for what it is. Does it make dollars? Does it make sense? Demetrius Andrade makes neither dollars nor sense. It would be fighting Demetrius Andrade, and it's not a lucrative fight. There are better options out there that can make more money. And you would just be fighting him because you're trying to silence a small portion of people in boxing who claim that you're ducking him. As opposed to fighting someone else, which would advance your career. Say if he won at cruiserweight, it would make sense. It would give him a title in another weight division, as you see Trill put up to 5. It would make him 5-time champion, 5 different divisions, jumped up. Well, he already won in 175, so he 190 is just the next step. So I think, like, realistically, people have to just look at it from an objective standpoint. They're talking about he's possibly going to fight Charlo, and that would be a good fight, and that would make sense. And it would make sense because Charlo's an undefeated fighter. Charlo has beaten some good names like Derevianchenko, and Derevianchenko had a real close fight with Triple G. Charlo has the PBC behind him. And that fight would actually make more money than a fight with Demetrius Andrade because Charlo is more of a draw than Demetrius Andrade. Although the pay-per-view didn't do well, Charlo's done well enough to headline a pay-per-view fight, which is more you can say about Demetrius Andrade. So if he goes that route, it makes more sense and it makes more dollars. If Demetrius Andrade really wants to fight Canelo Alvarez, and we've been through this before, and Trill's laid it out, and Triple G really wants to fight Canelo Alvarez, fight each other. Put on a good fight. Make the fans excited. One, you're going to get paid good money for that fight. But two, the winner of that fight puts themselves in good position. The winner of that fight now moves on to say they could either fight Howie Munguia or they can move up and they can fight a Caleb Plant. They can move up. They can fight a Benavidez. And then the winner of that fight, whether it's Benavidez, whether it's Triple G, whether it's Andrade, they put themselves in position to be a lucrative fight for Canelo Alvarez. But all these guys just want to sit around and be in the mix and try to hit the lottery. If Demetrius Andrade moves up to 168 and he beats the interim champion and he becomes mandatory for Canelo and Canelo vacates the belts, I already know what his fans are going to say. Canelo's stuck in Demetrius Andrade. Been there, done that. So you want take it. Like the belt don't make me. I'm moving on. I'm so again with beating Zach, whatever his name is. I mean, I'm not saying to be, facetious. I'm saying to make a point. Like, who knows him? He's not a draw. Would beating him be the equivalent of someone on Canelo's level? No. But the Demetrius Andrade fans are still going to say, well, he vacated the belt because he didn't want to fight Demetrius Andrade. True. Not because he was ducking him, but because it didn't make dollars or it didn't make sense. And again, you really had to factor those things in. So, yeah, he takes a step towards possibly being dubbed Canelo's mandatory. But again, is he going to be the best option? Is he going to be the most lucrative option? He's not fighting the competition to put him in that spot. So I'm not necessarily sure he would end up getting the fight as a result of this anyway.
Let us know how you feel in the comment section. Please like and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. We are the Boxing Bros.